All right, this one I had thrown in there, the prospects report. I want to include this. This one's like a shout out for the sales folks, right? Prospects report is also like one of the most hidden tools inside HubSpot, and we're going to see this when we go find it. So the prospects report, we get a lot of like HubSpot users in the group. Anybody use the prospects report? We got any ABM people going, right? Yeah, you're all over it, right? The prospects report is something that ties well into the account-based marketing strategy. And that's actually where you can generally find this tool. So using the prospects report, right? The way you find it, first of all, is if you are an ABM user inside HubSpot. So if you're using account-based marketing strategy under your contacts tab, you've actually got the target account section. That's going to lead you to the prospects report. Now, if you're already running an ABM plan, you're probably pretty familiar with the prospects report. But if you're not, there's a couple things that we should think about here. First of all, you might like to know about the prospects report. You might be wanting to use this tool. The other thing that you need to understand is that it's hard to find if you're not using ABM. So one thing, like on the how do we do this, you're actually going to go in the search bar in HubSpot and search for the term prospects. This part of the tool can no longer be found through like the normal tree, like the navigation inside HubSpot, unless you are an ABM user. So the prospects report. Kind of a unique report. I wanted to bring it up here because I think it's unique. I think it's sometimes underutilized, and I wanted to do something for the salespeople. The prospects report is meant to be exactly that. It's supposed to give you an idea of what prospects you have visiting your website. I want to be careful about this information inside the prospects report because it's powered by IP information. So it's anonymous. It can be really helpful. It's a layer of information that we get about contacts before they actually convert inside HubSpot and become a contact. But IP information is something that we need to be careful with because it's based on the internet service provider. It's based on where you log in to access the internet. So for the longest time, that was pretty reliable. You know, people were in their office visiting, a vendor that they might need from their office computer. But now so many of us work from home that IP information is definitely something that we want to kind of consider and reconsider what it is. So a few things that you want to do with the prospects report, we'll get into what to do with it here. First of all, you need to clean this thing up. You're going to get a bunch of internet service providers that show up in here. You know, you'll see AT&T and you're like, oh, wow, AT&T has been on my website. Like, I cannot wait to see that. It's going to be the biggest deal we've ever sold, right? AT&T. Okay, so hopefully AT&T is on your website. Cool. That would be awesome for you. AT&T is probably not on your website. That's almost certainly someone's internet service provider. So you want to be careful. You want to start to filter out the internet service providers. That's someone who's just browsing from their house. We can only present at the IP level the name of their internet service provider. So take that with a little bit of caution. I really hope a couple of you got AT&T on your sites, but probably it's the internet service provider. Filter those out and then start to star your favorites. If we go into the prospects, so we're going to see a few things. It'll show you how many visits you're getting from that IP. So how many people from that office are actually on your website. And then this becomes a really powerful, or I think a really helpful prospecting tool. So if you are on the new business team, if you are prospecting, especially if you are like a BDR, SDR, if you're one of those people who has to go out and collect the initial information on your prospects and load it into the CRM, the prospects tool can be this really helpful tool where HubSpot uses our insights data, so all the stuff you get from like LinkedIn pretty much, and will automatically populate it into a preview of the prospect. You can add that, create a company with one click, and now the company's got most of the information filled in. Just the stuff that you would find easily online, right? We are not like a Zoom info or anything like that. But it's the information that someone in a BDR and like a sales support, someone who's just doing their prospecting, would spend a lot of time going out finding like the company size, find their location, what their industry is, how much money they make, and start to manually impact that into the CRM. So it's a really helpful tool there for getting going. What else do you want to do with this, right? So we're showing you who's on your website. We're giving you a pretty good chance at it. It's a really powerful tool for prospecting, for BDRs, for those people who are loading up the initial information about a company. Just it's a time saver. But you can also do some like practical things with this. So first of all, if you are running an account-based marketing strategy and you actually want to go out and target these folks. So if you know one person's on your site, you can probably guess pretty well that there might be 2 or 3 more who are interested. So this is a great starting point for your sales team to kick off and say, let's go and find other points of contact in the site, in that business who are targeting. One of our account-based marketing targets, our primary focus accounts. Along with that, if you're in an ABM play again, or even if you want to do kind of a hybrid of ABM, you might start thinking about, is there more that the marketing team could do? Hey, we've got AT&T on our website here. Should we put together a specific proposal for them? Should we be thinking about maybe a more customized email template? Should we be thinking about what person is working with them and what relationships we have? The last thing I think you can do with the prospects tool, and I have it second to last here, but is use this as an opportunity to reconnect. If you have closed lost deals that are now represented in your prospects report, that deal that, it didn't work out last year, we couldn't get the budget, we couldn't get the decision maker 2 years ago, whatever it might be. They were on our site recently. That sale was almost on the finish line. I know who to connect to there. I just reply to that last email. This is often maybe a different angle, a new way for you to think about those connections and who you're talking to. Prospects report. You get a couple of choice little wins in there. I think it's an interesting tool to talk about. I would definitely encourage you to check this one.